Hey, what's up guys? Today I wanted to make a beginner's guide for people who have never played a Call of Duty game before and have just gotten Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And before I get into this, I want to make it very clear that this is just covering the basics and it's not for people who have played Call of Duty before. So starting this off, I wanted to talk about movement. And as you can see in the gameplay in the background, COD can be a really fast-paced game, especially on maps like Shipment or Shoot House. So there is some movement stuff you will need to know to be good at the game. One thing you can do that works really well is jumping around corners. Now, when you do this, you have to be aiming down sights pretty much as you're going around the corner. So it might take a bit of practice for you to get it right. Now, you would do this when you know there's somebody around the corner or on a map like maybe Shipment or something where it's pretty much guaranteed that somebody's going to be around that corner. Another great thing you can do pertaining to corners is sliding around the corners. Now, this is just like jumping around the corner. It will catch people by surprise, and it just helps a lot. But before you go ahead doing this, you're gonna need to go into settings, and then in the first tab, controller, you need to go into movement, and then I think it's slide behavior, and it should be on hold, and you want to change it to tap. So this makes it so you tap to go into the slide, and then you tap to go out of the slide. So you can control how far you're sliding. So you could just instead of sliding all the way to the middle of an alley when you slide into it, you can just go right up to the beginning and stop the slide. Now, in Call of Duty, there is a tactical sprint, and you can do this by pressing your sprint button, again one mid-sprint, and it does have like a set duration and everything. Even though there's a set duration to it that runs out pretty quick unless you have a perk like double time on, there is something you can do to make it last longer, which is using the slide right at the peak of your tactical sprint and just sliding really quickly and then going right back into the tactical sprint. Now, a lot of pros do this and it makes you a lot faster in game. So that's pretty much all I have to say about movement. But now I'm going to move on to the gunsmithing portion of Modern Warfare. So the gunsmith feature in Modern Warfare is a huge part of the game. And I say this because, unlike some other games, what you put on a gun can make a huge difference in how it works. So I'm going to show you guys the 725 shotgun, and you can see its base stats right there up on the screen. You have accuracy, damage, range, fire rate, mobility, and control. Now, these are all pretty self-explanatory, but to me, the three most important are damage, range, and mobility. So, yeah, damage is how high the damage is, range, how far you can shoot it with the higher ranges, having lower drop-off and lower damage drop-offs at higher ranges, and mobility being how fast you can run with your weapon, how fast you can swap it out, all that sort of stuff. So now you can see the Dread blueprint for the 725. And blueprints are basically just pre-made builds that you can earn in game that have a special skin for your gun. But right now I want you to look at the stats for the Dread blueprint with all the attachments compared to the base 725. And when you look at the difference in all of the stats, it really just shows how much of a change it can be depending on like a few different attachments that you add. So when you look at an attachment, it will say like the pros and cons of what it does for your gun. So it will say the pros in green with a little plus and the cons in red with a little minus. It's pretty self-explanatory there. But if, for example, if you see any of the lasers, they should add to ADS time, so how fast you aim down sights, and something like the monolithic suppressor will add damage range to your gun. And yeah, you should always look at the pros and cons of what you're going to put on the gun and look at the description. So that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. This was part 1 of a 2-part beginner's guide. Please like and subscribe. See ya.